The elevator doors closed before anyone else could enter. John Edwards rode 47 floors alone, watching the numbers climb on the digital display. His reflection appeared and disappeared in the brushed steel. His office lights activated when he crossed the threshold at 7:15. The glass walls framed Manhattan in early light, buildings emerging from shadow. He set his briefcase beside the desk, removed his laptop, opened it before sitting down. The quarterly review started at 8. He had 43 minutes. 3 partners arrived at 7:58, tablets already open. They took their usual seats around the conference table. John remained standing at the head, laptop angled toward him. The first partner presented fund performance, emerging markets, portfolio, 12-month return projection, risk assessment. John listened for 60 seconds. Approved, he said. Next. Marcus slid a tablet across the table. Education fund allocation cleared Monday. Staten Island Public School. Infrastructure support, facilities upgrade. Oh, yeah. John signed the digital approval without reading the supporting documents. His finger moved across the screen. Marcus retrieved the tablet. Next item, John said. Real estate holdings? Technology sector exposure? Currency hedging strategy. The meeting moved efficiently. No extended discussion. Decisions made in seconds, not minutes. At 8:52, the last item closed. Partners stood, gathered their materials. John returned to his office. The door didn't close. It didn't need to. No one entered without scheduled meetings. His assistant appeared in the doorway at 10:15. Market analysis briefing at 11. SEC filing review at 2. Conference call with Singapore at 7. John nodded. She left. Lunch arrived at 12:30. Salad from the place downstairs. He ate at his desk, reading quarterly reports from 3 subsidiary funds. His phone rang at 12:47. Sarah's name on the screen. He answered. Yes. Emma's pickup is still 6 on Friday? Yes. She wants to talk about summer camp. There are 3 options. Whatever she prefers. I'll send you the information. Fine. The call lasted 43 seconds. John set the phone down, returned to the quarterly reports. At 2 o'clock, 3 associates entered for the SEC filing review. They presented compliance documentation, regulatory updates, required disclosures. John approved the filings in 8 minutes. The Singapore call at 7 o'clock lasted 18 minutes. Sovereign Wealth Fund expressing interest in co-investment opportunities. John listened, asked 4 questions, agreed to a follow-up meeting. At 8:30, he closed his laptop. The office floor was empty. He took the elevator to the parking garage. His driver waited beside the black sedan, door already open. John sat in the back. The car merged onto the FDR Drive, 18 minutes to the Upper West Side. Neither of them spoke. The arrangement had been clear from the beginning. No small talk, no questions, no music. The penthouse lights activated when he entered. Temperature already adjusted. Air purification system running. He removed his jacket, hung it in the closet, microwaved a prepared meal from the refrigerator, chicken, vegetables, brown rice, pre-portioned by a service that delivered every Monday. He ate standing at the kitchen counter, tablet propped against the backsplash. Market futures. Asian markets opening. Currency fluctuations. At 10:15, he carried the tablet to the bedroom, changed into sleep clothes, brushed his teeth, set an alarm for 6 a.m. Before lying down, he checked his phone. No messages, no missed calls. He scrolled through his text thread with Emma. The last message was from Thursday. Good luck on your test. She'd responded with a thumbs-up emoji. He scrolled further back. Brief exchanges, schedule confirmations, logistics. He locked the screen, placed the phone face down on the nightstand. At 11:47, his laptop chimed from the desk. He considered ignoring it, sat up, opened the screen. Email from his assistant sent at 11:39. Staten Island school funding processed quietly Tuesday. Media check conducted Wednesday. No inquiries, no coverage. Implementation proceeding as planned. John read it twice, closed the laptop without responding. The room was dark. Outside, Manhattan glowed. Traffic sounds rose from 47 floors below, faint and constant. He lay back down, stared at the ceiling for 3 minutes, closed his eyes. Tuesday morning began the same way. Elevator at 7:15, office lights activating, laptop open by 7:20. The partner meeting started at 9. Routine agenda. Fund performance updates, risk assessments, compliance reviews. Marcus mentioned the education portfolio third on the list. Community initiative tracking positive. Infrastructure upgrades, proceeding on schedule. He paused. Minor friction with one family last week, already handled through the principal. John looked up from his notes. What friction? Parent declined a direct scholarship offer, said she wasn't comfortable with private arrangements tied to outside funding. Which parent? Marcus checked his tablet. Doyle, Megan Doyle, single mother, sons in 4th grade. Name's Connor. John wrote it down on his notepad. Doyle, Declined scholarship, drew a line under it. Reason for decline? Principal said the mother was polite but firm. No interest in individual support. Only wanted system-level help, if anything. Send me the correspondence. Already in your shared folder, filed under Community Initiatives. The meeting continued. Real estate adjustments, portfolio rebalancing, technology sector exposure. At 9:47, they finished. Partners dispersed. John returned to his office, opened the shared folder, found the email chain from Principal Rodriguez to Community Initiatives Fund. Subject, scholarship offer. Connor Doyle. Per our conversation, I extended the scholarship offer to Ms. Doyle. As discussed, she declined. Her response is forwarded below. From Megan Doyle, thank you for considering Connor, but we're not comfortable accepting private educational support tied to outside funding. We appreciate the thought. John read it 3 times. The phrasing was careful, respectful, final. At noon, he had lunch with 3 institutional investors, Midtown Steakhouse, corner booth. They discussed emerging markets, interest rate predictions, geopolitical risk. The entitlement culture's everywhere now, one of them said, cutting his steak. Even people who actually need the help. The others laughed. One added, try to do something decent. They question your motives. John rotated his water glass 90 degrees, didn't respond. His phone vibrated in his pocket. He waited until they ordered dessert to check it. The email from Principal Rodriguez was marked high importance. Subject, scholarship offer. Connor Doyle. He opened it under the table. Mr. Edwards. Per your request, I'm forwarding the full exchange. Ms. Doyle was very clear in her position. She thanked us for considering her son, but stated the family isn't comfortable with private arrangements. I respect her decision and wanted you to be informed. Below that, Megan's original message. John set his phone face down on his lap. The investors were talking about European markets. He heard the words but didn't process them. His coffee arrived. He drank it without tasting it. Back at his office at 2:30, he canceled his 3:00 p.m. meeting, rescheduled for Thursday. He opened a search window, typed, Staten Island School District 28 demographics results populated. He clicked through 3 pages, enrollment data, test scores, district boundaries, median household income, $48,000. Free lunch program, eligibility, 67%. Single-parent households, 41%. He opened another search, Staten Island Public Schools, ranking New York Read parent reviews on 5 different sites. Teachers dedicated but overworked. Facilities outdated. Class sizes too large. Funding insufficient. He looked at the clock. 3:47 p.m. Opened an email to his assistant. Typed, increase general Staten Island school funding allocation by $150K annually. Redirect from administrative overhead line item. Allocate to facility improvements, teacher resources, technology upgrades. No individual scholarships. No family-specific programs. System-level support only. He paused. Added a paragraph explaining the reasoning. Community investment framework. Long-term educational outcomes. Systemic improvement versus individual intervention. Read it back. It sounded like justification. He highlighted the explanation paragraph, deleted it, sent only the allocation, adjustment, and distribution instructions. His assistant responded within 2 minutes. Understood. We'll process by Thursday. Notify principal? John replied, yes. That evening, traffic was heavy. His driver took the FDR to avoid the Brooklyn Bridge backup. The alternate route passed through Lower Manhattan, curved up along the East River. At a stoplight on this Brooklyn side, John looked out the window. The Staten Island school was 4 blocks to the right, a brick building, 3 stories, chain link fence around a small playground. He looked at it for 4 seconds. The light changed. Continue, he said. At home, he went through his routine. Prepared meal, tablet on the counter, market analysis. But at 10 to 12 p.m., instead of checking Asian markets, he opened a search window. Staten Island Public Schools, ranking clicked through to detailed reviews, read parent comments, teacher testimonials, facility condition reports. 15 minutes passed. He realized what he was doing. Closed the browser, set the tablet down, stood at the kitchen counter for 30 seconds, hands flat on the marble surface, went to bed without checking his phone. The email arrived at 6:30 a.m. on Thursday. John's phone lit up on the nightstand. He picked it up, still dark outside. His assistant's name on the screen. Subject, urgent. Media inquiry. He opened it standing beside the bed. Mr. Edwards. Received inquiry at 6:15 a.m. from Brooklyn neighborhood reporter, doing community interest story about hedge fund involvement in local education. Requesting on-record interview with you directly. How should I respond? Below that, the forwarded inquiry from the reporter. Professional, polite, persistent phrasing. John showered, dressed, arrived at the office by 7 o'clock. At 7:15, he sent 3 messages. Emergency meeting, small conference room, 7:45. G3 senior partners arrived by 7:40. Marcus came in at 7:43, coffee in hand, expression already wary. "What's the emergency?" Marcus asked, sitting down. John forwarded the media inquiry to all 3 tablets. They read in silence. "Decline through PR," Marcus said immediately. "Standard protocol. Issue a brief statement through communications. Keep it vague. Move on." The other 2 nodded agreement. "We can have a statement drafted by noon," one added. "Reviewed by legal, published by 3. This dies by Friday." John let 8 seconds pass, looked at each of them. "Schedule the interview. I'll handle it directly." 3 pairs of eyes locked on him. "John," Marcus said carefully, "the board won't like this approach. Direct engagement creates exposure. Investors will interpret this as political positioning," another partner added. "Social agenda. Mission drift." "If we can't explain what we're doing in 2 clear sentences," John said, "we shouldn't be doing it at all." This isn't about explanation," Marcus said. "It's about optics, control, narrative management. And schedule it." His tone made it final. The meeting ended at 8:03. Partners left without further discussion. The reporter arrived at 11. John's assistant showed her to his office. Glass walls on 3 sides, Manhattan skyline, leather chairs, mahogany desk. "Thank you for making time," the reporter said, setting up a recording device. 20 minutes, John said. The conversation proceeded methodically. The reporter asked about fund structure, community involvement philosophy, selection process for educational initiatives. John answered in brief, clear sentences. No jargon. No defensive framing. "Why is a hedge fund involved in public education?" she asked. Notepad open. "Infrastructure, investment in an underfunded system. Community benefit. Are individual families receiving direct assistance, scholarships, private support? No. System-level support only. Facilities, resources, technology, no private arrangements with families. Some parents might wonder about motives. What would you say to them? If they have questions, they should ask them." 23 minutes. The reporter thanked him, packed her equipment. The article published online at 3:17 p.m. Headline: Wall Street moves into Staten Island. Schools, hedge fund CEO talks education investment. The Ishas. Photo showed John at his desk, glass walls and skyline behind him. The caption noted his fund's $2, $4 billion in assets under management. The article was factual, quoted him accurately. Mentioned the fund's infrastructure focus, noted the school's need for facility upgrades. Comments appeared within 7 minutes. Why does a billionaire need to be involved in public schools? What's the real agenda here? Nobody does this without wanting something back. Check in 6 months. There's always strings. John read the first 3. Closed the browser, returned to work. At 4:45, he checked again. 12 comments had become 47. Then 63. He closed the browser, left the office at 6 o'clock p.m., earlier than usual. Didn't explain why to anyone. Sarah texted at 7:30. Saw the article, this is new territory for you. He read it, didn't respond. Emma called at 8:15. Dad, Mom said you were in a newspaper article? Just about work. Nothing important. Can I read it? It's boring, Em. Just business stuff. Okay. Are we still doing Pizza Friday? Yes. I'll pick you up at 6. After hanging up, he stood at the window, 47 floors up. The city spread below, lights multiplying as darkness fell. He checked the article again at 10 o'clock p.m. 112 comments now. He read 5 more, closed the laptop, went to bed. The calendar notification wasn't there Friday morning. John checked twice. His schedule showed partner meetings at 10 and 2, nothing at 9. At 9:15, another notification appeared. Board discussion, sir? Community initiatives, 10 a.m. today, conference room. John walked to conference room A at 9:58. 9 partners already seated, Marcus at the far end. 2 empty chairs. John took one at the head of the table. No one spoke until 10:02. We've been tracking the media response, Marcus began. He pulled up a dashboard on the main screen. Investor communication inquiries are up 40% since Wednesday. 89% are questioning the school initiative. Tone ranges from curious to concerned. Another partner leaned forward. 2 institutional clients requested explanation calls. 1 pension fund asked if this represents strategic direction change. Markets respond to predictability, someone else added. Emotional initiatives create perception of distraction from core mandate. Fiduciary concerns emerge. John listened without interrupting. We're not suggesting you made the wrong call on the interview, Marcus said. We're observing the consequences and addressing them proactively. John cited portfolio performance metrics, mentioned reputation research on corporate community engagement, referenced long-term stakeholder value frameworks. But his sentences came shorter than usual, delivery sharper, jaw tighter. So what's the recommendation? John asked. We're not voting against continuation, Marcus said carefully. We're tabling the decision. Pending comprehensive impact assessment. Stakeholder analysis. Risk-benefit modeling. Translation: bureaucratic delay until the issue died. John looked at each partner, read their expressions, saw the consensus and how long. 60 days for preliminary assessment. And if the assessment recommends discontinuation, then we'll discuss options. Graceful withdrawal. Reframing. Strategic pivot. John closed his laptop. Noted. The meeting ended at 10:41. Marcus approached him in the hallway. John, you've earned autonomy through results. 13 years of consistent performance. Board trusts your judgment. He paused. This is costing you that autonomy, that trust, not destroying it, just eroding it. Pull out gracefully now. No harm done. Just wrong timing. John said nothing. Think about it over the weekend. And John returned to his office. Worked through lunch, left at 5:30 to pick up Emma. She was waiting on the front steps of Sarah's brownstone when he pulled up, backpack on, jacket zipped. Pizza place? She asked, climbing in. Pizza place. They ordered their usual, large pepperoni, garlic knots. She talked about her week, science project, friend drama, upcoming field trip. John asked questions, listened, but his phone sat on the table face up. He glanced at it twice during her story about the science project. Saturday morning, Emma wanted pancakes. John made them from a mix, slightly burned. She ate them anyway. They sat at the kitchen table. Emma had her iPad, watching videos. John had his phone, scrolling through news. Emma looked up. Dad? Yeah? You've checked your phone 6 times. He set it down. Sorry. Are you in trouble at work? No, why would you think that? She shrugged. You seem worried. I'm not worried. Just busy. Mom says you're doing something different with schools. Just a project. Is it good? He looked at her, 8 years old, brown hair in a ponytail, Sarah's eyes. I think so, he said. Then why do you look stressed? He didn't have an answer. Put his phone in the other room. They played a board game. She won. He let her. But the whole time, part of his mind was somewhere else. Monday morning, 7:45 a.m., his assistant forwarded an email. From Principal Rodriguez to John Edwards, subject communication request, Mr. Edwards, Megan Doyle has formally requested no further direct or indirect communication from your fund or its representatives regarding her family. She asked that I relay this clearly. I respect her wishes and wanted you to be informed immediately. If you have questions, please let me know. Principal Rodriguez John read it 3 times, highlighted the phrase, respect her wishes, stared at it for 15 seconds, couldn't articulate why. The news alert appeared at 9:47 a.m. on Tuesday. Community meeting at Staten Island School. Live coverage. Starting now, John canceled his 10 o'clock conference call. Opened the live stream on his laptop. The camera showed a school library, metal bookshelves, fluorescent lighting, 23 parents seated in plastic chairs, 3 reporters with the cameras at the back. Principal Rodriguez stood at a podium at the front. Thank you all for coming, the principal said. This is an open forum for parents to voice concerns about recent developments. We'll hear from anyone who wants to speak. 4 parents spoke first. A father in a construction company shirt. I appreciate that someone's trying to help. I do. But I want to know what the expectations are. What happens if the money stops? A mother with a toddler on her lap. My concern is influence. Do donors get a say in curriculum, school policy? We need to protect our independence. And an older woman. I've lived in this neighborhood 40 years, seen a lot of promises. Just want to make sure this isn't another photo opportunity. A younger father. I'm not against help. I'm against strings we can't see. Careful language. No hostility, just caution. The 4th speaker stood. Megan Doyle. She walked to the microphone. Navy blue work shirt, jeans, hair pulled back, stood straight. I want to be clear about something, she said. Her voice was steady. The funding this school received helped our budget. Teachers got supplies they needed. That's real. I acknowledge that. She paused. But I have a son in 4th grade, Connor, and when someone offered him a private scholarship, I declined. I'll tell you why. Another pause. The room completely silent. My son's dignity is not negotiable. Not for tuition money, not for opportunity, not for anything. I don't question anyone's intentions. I question the structure. I question what it means when help comes with visibility, when generosity requires gratitude. And she looked directly at the camera. I want my son to succeed because he's capable, not because someone decided to help. That's the only kind of success that matters to me. She stepped away from the microphone, sat down, said nothing else. The reporters moved immediately. One was already typing on a phone. Another was adjusting camera angles. Principal Rodriguez thanked everyone for speaking. mentioned the school's commitment to community voice, said the administration would carefully consider all concerns. The stream ended at 10:37. John closed the laptop, stared at the blank screen. His phone lit up. 3 messages. Marcus, this is your exit door. Take it. Another partner, PR can frame withdrawal as mission accomplished, budget allocated, goals met, transitioning to new initiatives. Third partner, board will expect statement by end of day. John opened an email, typed, no statement, continuing as planned, sent it to all 3. His direct line rang at 11:15, Control Capital Partners, one of his largest institutional investors. $340 million under management. John, need to ask you something directly. Go ahead. Is this personal? What's happening with the school situation? Because if it's personal, we need a different kind of conversation. Different risk assessment, different comfort level. It's not personal. Then why are you still engaged? The optics are deteriorating. Exit strategy exists. You're not taking it. The strategy is sound. That's not what I'm asking. Silence for 5 seconds. I'll note your concerns, John said. I'm not expressing concerns. I'm evaluating options. The call ended at 11:22. John worked through lunch, quarterly reports, portfolio adjustments, market analysis. But every 30 minutes, his mind returned to the same moment. Megan Doyle, at the microphone. I don't question his intentions. I question the structure. What did that mean? At 7:00 p.m., he left the office. Traffic was light. Home by 7:30. He microwaved dinner, sat at the kitchen counter with his tablet. Didn't check markets. Opened a search window. Typed Megan Doyle, Staten Island. Nothing relevant appeared. Just directory listings. Social media profiles that might not be her. He closed the browser. Felt ridiculous. Opened it again. Searched for the live stream recording. Found it. Played the section where she spoke. Watched it twice. I questioned the structure, not him, the structure. He didn't understand the distinction. At 11:30 p.m., he opened his email, drafted a message. Ms. Doyle, I received your message through Principal Rodriguez. I want you to know I understand your position. The fund has no interest in individual arrangements or personal recognition. Our only goal is system-level support. He wrote 3 paragraphs, explained his reasoning, clarified his intentions, made his case, read it back. It sounded like he was defending himself. Justifying, explaining, highlighted all 3 paragraphs, deleted them, closed the draft unsent. Sarah called Wednesday evening. Emma saw something online about you in a school controversy. There's no controversy. Then why is she asking me questions I can't answer? She said kids at her school were talking about it. Someone's parent recognized your name. It's not a controversy, it's just a misunderstanding. Then why not clear it up? It's complicated. You're not usually impulsive, John. You don't make decisions like this. What's actually going on? I'm not being impulsive. Then what are you being? He didn't have an answer. The conversation ended at 8:47. Both of them frustrated. Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m., email from Control Capital Partners. Not to him, to his assistant, but CC'd to him. Subject, portfolio review, request. We'd like to schedule a call to discuss portfolio realignment and strategic direction review. Please provide availability for senior leadership discussion. Corporate euphemism. Portfolio realignment meant withdrawal. Strategic direction review meant loss of confidence. John forwarded it to the board. No comment. No explanation, no mitigation plan. Subject line, FYI. His assistant appeared in his doorway at 9:15. Mr. Edwards, should I schedule the Control Capital call? They're asking for your availability. No. She paused. They'll interpret silence as, I know what they'll interpret it as. She left without another word. At 2:00 p.m., Marcus sent a message. Board wants to convene tomorrow, 9 a.m. This needs addressing. John didn't respond. Friday morning arrived cold and gray. John got to the office at 7:45, earlier than usual. His assistant handed him coffee. Didn't make eye contact, set it on his desk, left quickly. At 8:55, partners began gathering in the glass-walled conference room adjacent to John's office. John was not invited. He realized this at 9:03, when all 9 partners were seated inside, door closed, Marcus at the head of the table. John sat at his desk, laptop open, work displayed on the screen. But his eyes tracked the meeting through the transparent wall. Marcus speaking, hand gestures, another partner responding, documents reviewed, tablets passed, expressions serious but not angry. They were making decisions about his initiatives, without him. 10 minutes passed, 15, 20. John returned to his work, market analysis, fund performance reviews, due diligence reports, but every 2 minutes, his gaze shifted to the glass wall. 30 minutes, 40. At 9:47, the meeting ended. Partners stood, gathered materials, dispersed to individual offices. No one entered John's space. Marcus came in alone at 10:08, closed the door behind him. First time that door had been closed in 3 years. Board met this morning. I noticed. We've made a recommendation to the executive committee. You'll receive formal notification by end of day, but I wanted to tell you personally first. John closed his laptop, looked at Marcus directly. Board recommends you step back from active decision-making on non-core initiatives, effective immediately. Define non-core. Community programs, external partnerships, philanthropic activities, educational initiatives, public-facing investments. Marcus paused. You'll maintain strategic oversight, advisory role, input valued, but operational decisions will be handled by committee. Meaning I'm removed from decisions I initiated. Meaning we're creating organizational structure around complex stakeholder dynamics. Corporate language. Polite removal. John nodded once. Marcus waited. 8 seconds. 10. 15. Is there anything you want to say? No. Marcus left at 10:14. John opened his laptop. Continued working. Portfolio rebalancing. Quarterly projections. Risk assessments. At 2:37, an email arrived from Control Capital Partners. Formal notification. $40 million portfolio reallocation. 90-day timeline. Reason cited. Strategic misalignment. Governance concerns. Fiduciary responsibility review. John forwarded it to the entire board. Subject line. FYI. Control capital withdrawal. Notice no explanation, no analysis, no proposed response. His assistant entered at 3:15. Do you want to draft a response? Legal can review. No response needed. Sir, this is a significant client, $340 million. The board will expect. I said no response. She left. Emma called at 5:30. Video call from Sarah's house. Hi, Dad. Hey, Em. We're making tacos. Want to see? She flipped the camera. Sarah and her boyfriend David in the kitchen. They waved. John waved back. Mom says you're working a lot this week. A little busy. But we're still on for a Sunday, right? Museum and lunch? Museum and lunch. Okay, love you. Love you too. The call ended. John sat with the phone in his hand, stared at the black screen. 30 seconds, 45, a minute, set it down, stood at the window. The city moved below. Rush hour traffic. People leaving offices, going home to families, to dinners, to lives that included someone waiting. He stood there for 5 minutes, without moving. Wednesday morning, 9:15 a.m. Email notification. Subject, Board Governance Realignment. Q2 Implementation, Mr. Edwards. The Executive Committee has approved governance structure adjustments. Effective Q2 2024, your board seat will transition to advisory status. Compensation and benefits remain unchanged. Formal announcement will be made at the April board meeting. Thank you for your understanding. Executive Committee, no emergency meeting, no debate, no ceremony, just quiet removal. Administrative language, professional distance. John read it twice, closed the laptop, looked at the time, 9:22 a.m., left the office without telling anyone, drove without destination. West Side Highway to Sawmill Parkway, no endpoint in mind. 90 minutes later, he was in Westchester. Pulled into a rest stop, sat in the car, checked his phone. 12 missed messages, 7 work-related. 3 from partners, 1 from his assistant, 1 from Sarah. He didn't read any of them. Drove back to Manhattan, arrived home at 1:45 p.m., sat in the dark living room, didn't turn on lights, didn't check his laptop, didn't look at his phone. The city glowed through the windows. Afternoon light fading to evening. Evening to night. He sat there until past midnight. Just sat. Friday morning, 9:00 a.m., main conference room. The board chair spoke without preamble. Matter of fact. Administrative. Effective Q2. Governance structure is being optimized for operational efficiency. Your seat will transition to advisory capacity. You'll maintain strategic input. Compensation and benefits unchanged. This reflects organizational evolution, not performance assessment. A corporate euphemism for removal. Any questions? The chair asked. No, John said. Thank you for your understanding. Meeting ended at 9:07. John returned to his office, began organizing files, digital folders, cloud storage, access permissions. Messages arrived throughout the day. Appreciate your leadership over these years. Looking forward to your continued advisory input. Your vision helped build this firm. Correct language. Professional courtesy. Emotional distance. John read each one, responded to none. At 2:45, he closed his laptop, left the office. First time leaving before market close in 8 years. His assistant watched him go, didn't ask why. Emma's spring art showcase started at 6 p.m. Sarah had a work conflict. John was going alone. He arrived at the school at 5:50, parking lot half full. Parents streaming toward the entrance. He walked in at 5:52, found the auditorium. Other parents already clustered in groups, conversations, laughter, community. John entered, scanned for seats, Middle section mostly filled, front rows reserved. He chose the back row, far right. Pulled out his phone, checked email, scrolled through messages, looked busy, looked occupied. At 5:58, a parent from Emma's grade walked past. Recognized him. John saw the moment of recognition. The man's eyes registered his face, connected it to something. The man leaned toward his wife, whispered, gestured subtly in John's direction. Both parents looked, brief glance, turned away. Walked to the opposite side of the auditorium, relocated. Deliberately, John saw it happen. Looked back at his phone. The lights dimmed at 6:03. Principal walked on stage. Welcome remarks. Thanks to families. Introduction of the program. Students filed onto risers. 3rd through 5th grade choir. Emma in the 3rd row, alto section. Navy blue concert dress, hair braided. She scanned the audience while walking on, found him, smiled, waved slightly. John waved back. Small motion. 3 seconds of eye contact. The concert proceeded. 4 songs. Emma sang with focus. Good pitch, clear tone. During applause after the 3rd song, she looked for him again. He was the only person sitting alone in the back row. She held his gaze for a moment. Her smile was smaller this time. Concert ended at 6:47. Students filed off. Parents stood, gathered belongings. Emma found him in the hallway outside the auditorium. Walked straight to him, hugged him hard. You came. Of course I came. Mom couldn't make it? She had to work. Emma looked around. Other families clustered. Parents talking. Students showing their programs. Why were you sitting alone? You usually sit with other parents. Just tired tonight. Long week. She studied his face. Didn't believe him. John saw the doubt in her expression, but she didn't push. You sounded great, he said. Thanks. Miss Martinez said my pitch was perfect on the hard part. It was. They walked to the car. John opened the passenger door. Emma climbed in. Are you sure you're okay? She asked as he started the engine. I'm sure. But his hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than necessary. He drove her to Sarah's house. Brownstone in Brooklyn. Lights on inside. Warm. Emma gathered her backpack. Love you, Dad. Love you too, Em. She ran up the steps. Sarah opened the door before Emma reached it. She waved at John. He waved back. Sarah held the door for Emma, looked at John for a moment longer. Her expression questioned. He looked away. Drove off. Back at the penthouse. 8:20 p.m. He didn't turn on the lights. Walked to the living room. Sat on the couch. The city glowed through floor-to-ceiling windows. Just sat. Emma had asked why he was alone. He'd said he was tired. Not the truth. The truth. A parent recognized him. Whispered to his wife. They moved away. Chose distance over potential association. Recognition now meant isolation. His success had taught him control, efficiency, optimization, but nothing about standing beside someone. Nothing about presence without function. Nothing about connection that didn't require leverage. He'd built everything on strategic advantage. Couldn't exist without it. At 10:30, his phone lit up on the coffee table. Text from an unfamiliar number. He picked it up. Mr. Edwards, this is Principal Rodriguez. I got your number from our school directory records. If you'd like to visit the school informally sometime, no press, no expectations, no arrangements, you're welcome. I thought you should know that option exists. Principal Rodriguez. John read it 4 times. Set the phone face down on the table. Sat in the darkness for another 20 minutes. The invitation stayed unanswered. Sunday evening, 9:47 p.m. John picked up his phone, opened the text from Principal Rodriguez, read it again. Typed. Tuesday afternoon works. 12:30. No announcement needed. Sent it before reconsidering. Response arrived within 2 minutes. Perfect. Just come to the main entrance. Look forward to seeing you. Tuesday morning. John didn't go to the office. Worked from home. Laptop at the kitchen counter. Jeans instead of suit pants. Sweater instead of button-down. First time in a professional context. At 11:45, he closed the laptop, changed shoes, left the building, drove himself. No driver. Personal car, not the sedan service. Staten Island. Took the Verazone Bridge. Traffic moderate. Parked 3 blocks from the school on a residential street. Walked the rest. Arrived at 12:25. The main entrance had a small courtyard, metal benches, concrete, chain link fence. John sat on a bench facing the building, hands in his coat pockets, visible but not intrusive. Lunch period, students visible through windows, movement, voices, the building was alive. At 12:38, the bell rang. Students began filing out, recess, playground beyond the courtyard, running, shouting, basketball, jump rope. Teachers crossed the courtyard in pairs. Some glanced at John, registered his presence, kept walking. At 12:43, the side door opened. Megan Doyle exited with a boy. Connor, 4th grader, backpack on, late pickup, dentist appointment maybe, doctor visit. Connor spotted the playground, ran toward it. Mom, can I? 5 minutes, stay where I can see you. He ran off. Megan turned, saw John on the bench, stopped, 4 seconds. Her expression didn't change. Not surprise, not anger, just recognition. She crossed the distance, stood 6 feet from the bench, didn't sit. You didn't have to come here. I know. Silence. 5 seconds. Cars passing on the street behind them, distant playground sounds. The press will make this something it's not. Let them. 7 seconds. Megan shifted her weight, didn't move closer or farther. Why are you still here? After everything. 'Cause walking away would prove them right. 9 seconds. The longest pause. Megan looked at him directly, studying, assessing. You're not here to fix anything. No. Connor called from the playground. Mom, watch this. Megan glanced over. Connor was climbing the jungle gym. I need to go. I know. She turned, walked toward the playground, didn't look back. John remained on the bench, watched her cross the courtyard. Watched Connor jump down from the bars, watched them walk to the parking lot together. 8 more minutes. John sat, hands still in pockets, watched students play, teachers supervising, the ordinariness of it. At 12:59, he stood, walked back to his car. No cameras, no reporters. No one had documented it. He drove back to Manhattan, stopped at a red light, pulled out his phone, opened the text thread with Principal Rodriguez, typed, thank you, sent it. That evening, messages arrived from partners, market response neutral today. Control, capital situation appears stable. Withdrawal proceeding without acceleration, crisis contained. John read all 3, responded to none. At 7:30, an email from a reporter, heard you visited the school today. Would you like to comment on your continued involvement? Someone had seen him, parent probably, or teacher. John replied directly, no comment. Sarah called at 8:15. Emma said you looked different today when you picked her up from dance. Different how? She said you seemed calmer, asked if something changed at work. Nothing changed at work. Then where? I'm not sure yet. Sarah was quiet for a moment. That's the first honest answer you've given me in 2 weeks. Maybe. Are you okay, John? Getting there. They talked for 6 more minutes. Emma's upcoming field trip. Summer camp registration, schedule coordination, normal things, easy things. After hanging up, John stood at the window, the city at night, lights and movement and millions of people, living lives he'd never considered. Wednesday morning, 9:15 a.m. John arrived at the office. Later than his old routine, earlier than most people. Partners glanced at him when he walked in, not hostile, not welcoming, uncertain. Marcus approached at 9:45. You didn't respond to the containment update yesterday. I know. Marcus waited. 10 seconds, 15. John offered no explanation, returned to his work. Marcus left without another word. 3 months later, June, John arrived at the office at 8:30. The building was already active. Associates at desks, partners in early meetings, morning energy. He greeted his assistant by name. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, Mr. Edwards. Coffee's on your desk. You have the 10 o'clock strategy meeting? Thanks. How was your weekend? Good. My daughter's softball team won their first game. That's great. What position does she play? Pitcher. Struck out 6 batters. Tell her congratulations from me, Jennifer smiled. I will. A small conversation, normal interaction. He'd never asked about her daughter before. Hadn't known she played softball. The 10 o'clock meeting started on time. John sat at the side of the conference table. Not the head, 4th seat down. 3 partners presented expansion strategy, new markets, risk assessment, capital allocation. John listened, took notes. When they finished, they looked at him. Thoughts? Marcus asked. Aggressive timeline on the Asian markets entry. Consider regulatory approval delays. Budget for 12 months instead of 9. One partner nodded. Good point. We'll adjust projections. Another partner said. We were planning to proceed with the original timeline. Market conditions won't wait. Understood, John said. He didn't override, didn't push. The partner made his choice. John nodded once. Meeting continued. At 11:30, an email notification, Q2 performance bonus processed, $847,000. His compensation had been unaffected by the role change. Advisory position, same financial standing. At 5:15, John closed his laptop, gathered his jacket, left the office. Several partners were also leaving around the same time. Elevators full, casual goodbyes. Have a good evening. You too. Normal, ordinary. Emma's softball game was at 6:30 in Westchester. John drove himself. Traffic light. Arrived at 6:15. The parking lot was full of families, minivans, SUVs, Parents carrying folding chairs and coolers. John walked to the field, found the bleachers, sat with other parents from Emma's team. "You're Emma's dad, right?" a woman in a team shirt asked. John: "Yes." "I'm Cheryl. My daughter Kayla plays shortstop. Nice to meet you. First game you've made it to?" "This season, yes. Work's been complicated." "I hear you. My husband travels a lot. Miss more games than he makes." Normal conversation, parent talk. Across the bleachers, John saw Sarah. She was sitting with David. They'd been dating for 2 months now. Serious enough to meet Emma. Serious enough to attend games together. Sarah waved. John waved back. David nodded. John nodded. Cordial. No tension. The game started at 6:33. Emma played third base. Good position for her. Quick reflexes, strong arm. First inning, a line drive came her way. She fielded it cleanly. Threw to first. Out. John cheered. So did Cheryl. So did the parents around them. Third inning, Emma batted. 2 strikes, then a solid hit to center field. She made it to first, beaming. That's my girl," John called. She looked over. Huge smile. After the game, Emma ran over. Jersey grass-stained, hair falling out of her ponytail, face flushed. She hugged him. Hard. Longer than usual. "You came." "Of course I came." "You seem different, Dad." "Did you?" "Good different." "Yeah. You're more here. Present." "I'm trying." "I can tell." Sarah and David approached. Casual greetings. "Good game, Em," David said. "Thanks." Sarah looked at John. "Want to grab ice cream? There's a place nearby." John checked the time. 8:05. "I actually have to get back. Early meeting tomorrow." Not true. No meeting. But boundaries felt right. "Okay. Maybe next time." "Yeah. Next time." John hugged Emma goodbye, drove back to the city. At 6:40, he stopped at a coffee shop. Not near his apartment. Near Staten Island. He'd chosen the location deliberately. Not randomly. Ordered coffee. Black. Sat at a corner table with his laptop. Checked email. Reviewed documents. Normal work. At 7:15, the door chimed. Megan walked in. She saw him. Paused. Her expression registered recognition without surprise. She approached. "This is weird, right?" "Little bit." "Can I sit?" "Please." She ordered tea. Returned. Sat across from him. They talked. Connor's summer reading list. Extended year program at the school. Teacher he'd have in 5th grade. John asked questions. Genuine questions. Listened to answers. They talked about weather. Heat wave forecast. Air conditioning problems. City traffic versus Staten Island parking. Nothing important. Nothing heavy. 25 minutes passed. Easy conversation. Megan checked her phone. "I should get back. Connor's with my neighbor. Can I walk you to your car?" "Okay." They crossed the parking lot. June evening, still light, humid. Connor had texted Megan twice during coffee. She showed John a photo he'd sent, drawing of a dinosaur. "He's really into paleontology right now," she said. "That's a detailed T-Rex. He'll be happy you noticed." They reached her car. Older Honda, dent in the rear bumper. She unlocked it, paused, looked at John. 3 seconds of silence. "See you around?" "Yeah. See you around." She got in, started the engine, backed out. John stood in the parking lot, hands in his pockets. Watched her taillights until they turned onto the main road, then walked to his own car. Drove back to Manhattan, took his time, no rush, traffic was light. At home, he made tea, carried it to the living room, sat by the window, 47 floors up. The view hadn't changed. Manhattan at night, buildings, lights, movement, but something felt different. The silence used to press against him, reminder of emptiness. Now it just felt quiet. His phone sat on the coffee table, face up, screen dark. He didn't reach for it. The tea cooled in his hand. He looked out at the city, not at what he controlled, not at what he'd built, just at what was there. People in apartments across from him, lives he'd never know, problems he'd never solve. Stories unfolding without his input. The window reflected his face, the city behind it. Both visible, both real. For years he'd seen only the city, the systems, the markets, the leverage points. Now he saw himself in the glass. Part of it, not above it. Emma had said he seemed more present. Sarah noticed something different. Even Megan had agreed to coffee. Small things, normal things. The kind of things that couldn't be optimized or controlled or strategically planned. He sat there until 10:30, finished the tea, set the cup down. Tomorrow there would be work, meetings, decisions, the same structures. But tonight he just sat, not proving anything, not managing anything. Just present. The city continued outside. Inside, John was still. For the first time in years, that felt like enough. For the first time in years, That felt like enough.